Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to Nostalgia Unboxings. I apologize for not uploading a video for the past, 2 weeks, but things came up in real life, and then right as that was winding down, I ended up getting a little bit sick and kind of lost my voice, which I think you can kind of still hear some of the congestion in how I'm speaking right now, so I'm really sorry about that, but sometimes that is just how life be. So here we go. We have another Kingdom figure, and one that I didn't necessarily plan on getting, but we have Kingdom Arcee. And I actually got this because I've been checking my local Target and stores and stuff for Galvatron because I've been very interested in him. Just to see when stuff would restock, and this lone little Arcee has been warming the shelf at my Target now for quite a while, and I just decided to get it. I don't know, it looks really nice. I like the colors because, pink isn't usually a color you see on many Transformers, and she's just iconic from G1, of course, from the movie and everything. So yeah, it was $19.99 or so, maybe actually a little bit less. So, yeah, I got it because I could, and it's nice. So here we go. It is a deluxe class, as we could see here. We have all the nice box art of her. Basically, just the standard for everything else, really. 15-step transformation, and that may seem a little bit low, and there's a reason for that, because this figure, and I believe many of the other previous Arcees that we have gotten recently, are notorious and infamous, one could even say, for a certain Transformers sin. And we'll get into that when I actually get the figure out. But yeah, 15 steps. And one more thing to note, actually, is that if this Arcee looks familiar to you, it is because this is actually, the Kingdom Arcee is actually just a repack of the Earthrise Arcee, I believe. Yeah, I think the Thrilling 30th, I think, right? Or Generations Arcee is different, and then this is the same as the Earthrise one, which is, good for me, because I actually was interested in the Earthrise one a while ago, and it was very expensive. It got up to, this is also the holiday season, so that could have played a part in it, but I swear, dude, it went up to, $70 for one before the Kingdom one was announced. And I think now the price dropped to being pretty much the same, at least on Amazon, for both of them. So yeah, sometimes it pays to be patient and to take your time and to do some research. You can save quite a bit of money instead of just panic jumping on stuff. So yeah, sometimes you gotta, strategize to get the most bang for your buck in this hobby. So here we go. Let's pop it open. Hopefully without cutting myself. And pull that tab out. Oddly enough, we do have the Beastars logo on the flap here from the original Beastars, despite this clearly being a G1 figure. Also, I've realized something about the way they do the new packaging. I'm not sure if it's partially intended or not, but it does a very good job of hiding the fact that a lot of these figures have very big backpacks. Although for this one, you can actually remove this, and we'll get into that later, to make the backpack just a wee bit smaller. And that is part of why this figure is so notorious. So here we go, we have it in the packaging with the monumental backpack. We have our little gun right in the back shelf here. That is how that all looks. And we have our little card, which we will check out. Ooh, it is the Arc. So here we go, let's take a look. Very holographic, as all of them have been. And then if we peel it back, I think we've seen one of these before. So I'm gonna... Ooh, yeah, we have the Dark Arc one here. I'm not even gonna pull it off fully. I believe this is the Dark Arc variant. Although, here, we'll peel it back just a wee bit more to show off the Cybertronian for anyone interested in translating that. Alright, that is that. That is our sticker. We will now put back together as nice as possible and put off to the side. Alright, and here she is out of the packaging with her gigantic backpack still intact and her little gun, which she can hold pretty well. Look at that. Beautiful. It's a little wonky because it's not like a post, even though I think it could have easily been a post. I guess that would have made the gun look less accurate since, the handle isn't a post in the movie, but she can hold it. Looking pretty good there. That's about it for that. And one thing you may notice from just looking at her body, she doesn't look like she transforms much, does she? She doesn't have a whole lot of kibble or panels or anything like that. And she does have one very big backpack. Could you guess why? Yes, it is because she is very much a shelformer. And for those, not familiar with a lot of the transformer terms, shelformer usually just refers to any transformer where instead of like the robot itself being the transformation, it instead has a whole bunch of shell parts around it that kind of just fold up around the robot as in place of the transformation, I guess. And a lot of people I know are not happy about that, and, they kind of complain about shell formers for the most part. But honestly, like, how are you going to make Arcee into not a shell former if you want her to even look remotely accurate to what she looked like in the show in the 86 movie? Like, without bending the laws of physics, and like, I don't even know, like, it is not possible. On the bright side, it isn't actually as bad as it looks, because I think I've mentioned this before, part of this does come off, and I will show you how to do that, because I just played around with it, and I realized this is kind of a delicate assembly, and if you do it wrong, you could very easily just break some of the clips here. So basically, the first thing you have to do is you untab these little things, these little tabs from these little holes, and you can kind of fold this over completely like that. And it does like spin around freely, so you can adjust it to whichever angle you think you need to get in there properly. And then you see this little white piece here is kind of like snapped in to here. And this part is blocked off, and you may be wondering why. And that's because you actually have to hold this and push it in, like so. It does not work very well. It does not work very well at all. I know it's probably very clear that it does not work very well. It like barely presses in at all. But the idea is, you press this down, and I would put your finger like right here and just push back like that, and it'll snap out. And then you have a much less backpackified Arcee. Actually, I think you could even fold this. Yeah, you could even fold her backpack down. Oh, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. See? And suddenly, that looks a whole lot better, doesn't it? As for this, it has this, so this is a very weird piece. And yeah, this is like the whole delicate part. I would be very careful with this. Look how actually like bendy it is. It is quite thin, so be very careful with this, because if you damage this, then you're kind of screwed. Because I'm pretty sure this is even a key part of like the transformation holding together. So you could kind of fold this. I don't think there's even like a super proper way to do it, whichever way is like better for you. You could push this all the way down like that and snap it in. But then you'll have these little white bits sticking out, and it's very, very hard to unpin it then, I have noticed. Again, from trial and error. So I don't know, I would personally put it like this. Boom, just like that. And then you just have this little piece, which I think in a lot of the product art and pics for this, the spoiler pictures, she's kind of shown using it as a little hoverboard, which I think is pretty frickin' rad. And you know what? I'll take it. If it means, making the best use of the shelformer gimmick, I do appreciate that at least it does something when it is in robot mode, instead of just being permanently stuck there, destroying, the whole aspect, kind of, the whole silhouette of the figure, really. So yeah, you could use this little surfboard, which is freaking rad, and I like it a lot. So one thing I did notice, though, is her joints are very loose in a lot of places, right out of the box. This knee seems to be, a little bit looser, the hips are loose, so they're not too tight. Although I guess that kind of fits the feminine aspect, I guess, in a way. You don't have to super, force it. You gotta be, gentle and delicate with the fembot. Which is pretty cool. And, I mean, that is about it. Since she's a part, she's not a parts former, my bad. Since she is a shell former, she doesn't really do much aside from just being a very nice, posable figure in robot mode. This actually looks really nice, honestly. I think they did a really good job with Arcee here, despite it being a shell former. I know that a lot of people really, really hate that kind of stuff, but I just don't see any other way to really do it if you want to make the screen accurate 86 Arcee. Oh, one thing we could take a look at the head sculpt now. We'll zoom in. And you'll notice it's very plain. Although granted, Arcee does have a pretty plain head. I do appreciate all the detailing on her, like, robot space buns, looking like Princess Leia and stuff. Oh, she does not have very good head articulation. What the heck is this? Oops, sorry, I just kind of... What is this? It, like, doesn't want to move. It kind of feels like Beast Wars Megatron's head articulation, where it's, okay. So it snaps forward, and then it snaps completely 180 degrees backwards. So that's your head articulation, I guess, guys, if you want to have possessed Arcee. But yeah, one thing you will notice is she has a very plain head sculpt, aside from her blue eyes. And I mean, she does kind of look like that in the movie and stuff, but I would have appreciated maybe some just color on her lips or something, just to distinguish it just a little bit more. Or maybe... this might be asking for a little much, but like maybe a slightly different white for the headpiece versus the face, or I don't know, something to offset just the tremendous amount of white, because it really almost looks unfinished in a way, just being so plain compared to like the rest of the body actually having a lot of color. So yeah, that is robot mode for Arcee for the most part. Oh yeah, she does have these like really weird paddles that stick out of the back of her feet. Not terribly noticeable in robot mode when when it's front facing, and I guess they will help to balance it against the backpack, especially if you do, for whatever reason, decide to keep this huge chunk on. This will be your lifesaver in standing it up in that case, because she is definitely going to be super back heavy as is, just due to being such a little tiny fembot and femininely petitely framed, I guess, compared to most Transformers. She does look very nice everywhere else, though. She has all the nice little paint apps. I like the gray on the waist here to offset all the pink and white. The Autobot logo right on top of her booba. Very nice. And the little pink kneecaps, of course. Yeah, that is basically it for robot mode. We will move on to vehicle mode then. But before we actually do that, I realized that I did not go over the instruction manual this time. So we will do that real quick like. So here we go. Oh, also, there's actually a couple extra steps in making the hoverboard surfboard thing that I apparently didn't know about when I showed it off. So you just unfold basically a couple of the panels and the wheels to make it a bit wider, and that's basically it. Also, apparently the white part sticking out is actually part of the intended look for it. So yeah, that's a thing. Oh, also, I should have showed this off. I could actually show it off on the vehicle here. But there's actually a couple pegs right here and then right here that are actually to stand to peg into the feet of Arcee, so she can actually stand on it very well balanced like and stuff, which is pretty cool. And then onto the last bit here. Alright. That is it. Yeet. That's the instructions. So here we go. Arcee's vehicle mode. And it looks nice. It looks accurate, just kind of like it does in the movie, right? But holy crap, is this absolutely cursed. So yeah, she basically just has to do like advanced yoga to get into her transformation mode here. And holy crap. So her leg part here is the finickiest thing ever to get in properly, to get in far enough to where her legs don't stick out and block these wheels from spinning. The tolerances are incredibly low. Oh my gosh! It fell. On the bright side, it is very sturdy, as you can see. Almost nothing is out of place. Oh yeah, these panels on the side are kind of actually out of place, but they're very annoying, and they don't like fitting nice and snug. So, you know what? Let's just ignore those. But, well, I actually did figure out a little helpful hint, I guess, to get everything here sorted in place the right way. And if you look really closely, here, I'll zoom in on one side. You see how there's this very tiny notch in the panel in the back here? So if you can put her knee like right up against it nice and snug, and you see it is on both sides, that should help you get this part over to where this little like slight tab is, to get it underneath the tab. And I feel like the tab just helps keep the legs like pinned in this position without like drooping down further. So that is something I wish I would have noticed that like immediately, because that would have probably saved me quite a bit of time. I was even trying to look up like a video on how to transform it because I thought I was doing something wrong or that the instructions were wrong. But no, the instructions are right. It is just incredibly finicky with very, very tight tolerances on some of these things to get it like perfectly in the way that it needs to be to work. So we zoom out. And yeah, other than that, I mean, her arms are all tucked in there. The whole bot is basically visible. Also, I found out that the possessed head thing is actually part of the transformation. It is totally intentional for you to flip it over like that, which means otherwise her head articulation is very snappy. Since it really wants to, it's like the way I could visualize it is like it feels like there is an upward hill around both of these sides, and then there's two notches, just one in the front facing and one back facing. So it feels like it's so snappy, like boom, yeah, like it just really wants to snap either forward or backward and doesn't really like staying to the side, although it is possible. So I mean, you can give her some rotation, but just know that it is going to be, again, I guess the best way to describe it would be finicky. You're gonna have to be really precise to avoid the head just snapping one way or the other. On the bright side, she does have weapon storage right up in the front here. You can actually pull it out. There's just like this little rectangle divot thingy that you can just stick the handle of her little pistol right in, and it just kind of sits nice and snug. Perfect. Other than that, like, I think it looks so nice because, I mean, it is a shell former, so, you know, it should at least look nice since the whole shell is dedicated purely to the vehicle. And one thing I've actually seen I like the antenna on this bit too, actually. That's kind of a tangent. The seats are nice. One thing I've noticed, though, I've seen actually a couple people post about this online, is that they've taken this figure and just I think it is a pin that holds it in, but they've basically just removed this entire backpack off of Arcee so that they could have Arcee and the vehicle mode posed next to each other, and you can literally not tell the difference because it is just that level of shelformer. So she does have like these little hidden clear wheels, which is pretty cool, and they do spin. Everything rolls pretty nicely, although probably not here on my little carpeted work surface, I guess, because, you know, of course, the carpet does kind of mess with the already low clearance of the wheels to the ground here. But I think it does look nice, so, like, I don't want to completely bash it. This figure is super, super mixed. I think the bot mode looks really nice and accurate when you do remove the jet board, the hoverboard a bit off. It looks really nice, and I think it's a fun figure to have to display, especially if you do have the rest of the G1 cast. And yeah, I mean, it's nice, but and the vehicle mode is nice. I think the vehicle mode looks very pretty too, and I'm considering removing the whole thing. I probably won't because it just seems like a lot of work, but I think that is a good idea to be able to have both modes. But just the transformation is a huge pain. For such a small figure, like, these are the most difficult 15 steps I think I've ever done on a tiny transformer. Like, what the heck? But, I mean, I guess the journey sucks, but both ends look really, really nice. So, is it worth it? Maybe. $19.99 is a pretty decent price point at the very least. And it shouldn't be too hard to find because at least a couple stores I've been in have had at least one or two Arcees warming the shelves. So, I mean, it's not super in demand because this isn't a new mold, because it is just a re-release, a reissue of the Earthrise mold. So yeah, I mean, if you were looking for an Arcee and you don't mind at least a slight headache during the transformation process, here you go. I think this will suit your needs very well because it definitely suits mine. So yeah, I mean, in the end, I am satisfied with the purchase, but holy heck, I mean, I just gotta admit, I did almost lose a couple brain cells during that transformation. I had to look up like a video and everything to make sure I was doing it right, which turns out I was. Is just, you gotta be real precise. But yeah, so that is Transformers Kingdom Arcee, and to an extent, and by extension, I should say, Earthrise Arcee as well. And I hope you guys liked the video, and if you did, please do like, comment, and subscribe, because that helps out the channel tremendously. And as always, I will try to see you next time, whatever and whenever that may be, I guess. Bye-bye!